My name's Jeff Skalski. I'm the Senior Producer for Dungeon Keeper. Super excited back at the studio of Mythic, bringing this classic, kind of cult classic from the 90s. It's basically, it's good to be bad, Horny is back. You kind of play as the evil guy playing against other players. So now you get to do a mix of real-time strategy and tower defense components and all together. But the best thing of all is, in the classic, it was keyboard and mouse, and you had the hand of evil. Now what we have is your hand is actually the hand of evil, and now you get to kind of touch and experience the game in a completely different way now that it's on tablets and phones. So right off the bat, we start to introduce the player to this kind of new mechanic and the humor of Dungeon Keeper. And here we have as one of our imps. And to start the game, you got to slap your imps. So here we're going to slap our imp to get things going. So this is a dungeon I've been actually working on all morning here at Gamescom. So it's a little bit more advanced than what a player would have when they first start the game. But you can see here, here's my whole dungeon I can kind of build out. Everything in Dungeon Keeper kind of falls under three things. You have digging, devising, and then dominating your enemy keepers. So to kind of dig, it's very, very straightforward. I have my various different imps running around. I can actually just drag and off they go. And if I want to fill in areas, I can just hold my finger down and start filling in areas. So it's very easy to kind of move things around. If I want to actually take my room and move it, I can pick up my rooms and drop it over here, and vice versa if I want to move it back. Now, Dungeon Keeper is coming out this winter, 14 languages. It's going to be on the App Store. It's going to also be on the Google Play Store, and it's a freemium title. So there's really no excuse not to download it and take a look. We want to make sure as many people as possible can check out the game. Our premium currency is mostly just used for expediting time. So as you kind of get much further out in the dungeon, the dig times take a little bit longer, or as you level up to higher level rooms, they take a little bit longer, but otherwise everything's completely accessible to all players. There's nothing that requires a payment. It's just a matter if you want to wait the time or have it immediately. Now for the fans out there who are listening to this who are big fans of the cult classic, Dungeon Keeper 1 or 2, we wanted to make sure we carried over those characters, the Mistress, the Bile Demon. Today I'm going to be showing off the Troll and the Warlock and the Skeletons. We want to make sure we carried over those kind of humor elements as well. And then of course there are some of the classic rooms, like the Dungeon Heart being one of the most important one. That's at all things you must protect your Dungeon Heart, as well as that's the thing you want to destroy when you raid other people's dungeons. We have the Library. Library is great. Once you unlock that, it unlocks the Warlock, so you can start summoning them from your portals. You can also use the Library to research different spells. Pluck Off being one of my favorite ones, which I'll show in a second. And we have the Treasury for storing all your gold, and you need to build more treasuries if you want to have more gold. Hatcheries as well help control your minion cap, so how many minions you can field when you raid another player. And then of course the workshop, which you need to unlock different traps. And we have actually quite a bit of traps in the game. Traps are going to play a bigger role in the new Dungeon Keeper game than they have in the past. It's one thing we really wanted to do. So traps are definitely going to play a bigger role in the new Dungeon Keeper. You can actually easily move your traps around, strategically place them. Here's one of our cannon traps. Basically it fires in all cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. So that's actually this is a better location for me to drop this, so this way it'll shoot all directions. You play against other players. When you want to raid, after you build out your dungeon and you're ready to kind of take on some new challenges, you can look for other players, and we kind of matchmake you with proper power evil level. And then we also have a single player campaign that you can play through, much like you could in the classics. And then we have a daily raid, which is kind of a new challenge we push out every day to see how well your defenses are in your dungeon. Can you handle 10 waves of warlocks or 10 waves of trolls? And then something else we've added, which was not intended to add originally, is test your dungeon. This is great when you build out your dungeon. You want to play against yourself just to see where all the strengths and weaknesses of your dungeon are. So I'm going to go ahead and fire that up. So when I start off, this is exactly what a player would see if they were attacking my dungeon. They have an opportunity to steal this many resources from me. Now, I'm not going to be stealing these resources from myself because it's my own dungeon, but just so you can see how it plays out. So starting off, I have a couple different areas where I can deploy entry points into this dungeon, but I'm going to pick the north. And I see that there's a troll there, so I'm going to go ahead and cast Pluck Off to clear out that troll. He turns into a chicken. Then I go ahead and crush him. And then what I can do is start deploying my trolls. Now, trolls do a lot of damage to traps and trap rooms. So they're going to go through here and clear out the workshop and make quick of the hatchery. And then I'm going to go ahead and cast Fire Breath to clear out my warlock here, just to give them a little more cover. They're going to quickly take out the library, and then they're going to work on these cannons. So the trolls are busy doing that. I'm going to go ahead and deploy my warlocks, which are great at range combat, doing damage to ground and air units. And then my skeletons, which are kind of our cannon fodder troops. Basically, those minions just attack anything they see in sight and do mediocre damage, and they're very cheap to field. Now they're going to work on that. Pretty much just took out the dungeon heart. I'm almost at 100% here. I'm going to maximize. If a player was attacking me, they would get full credit for all those resources. Zeroed out because it's my own dungeon. I'm just testing it. But as you can see, like, the matches are fast. We want people to be able to quickly kind of get in, take advantage of the fact that they may have the phone in their pocket and they want to play while they're waiting in line for a coffee. Or if they have a tablet, they can pull out very quickly and they'll have a sense of accomplishment, even with just 30, 45 seconds of gameplay. Or just kind of come in and go, I want to work on this building and queue up that building and then come back in later after work. So it's a new way of playing Dungeon Keeper, but we're super excited to bring this IP back. It's been long, long overdue.